Hello, Toads and Toadettes, and welcome back to the Collector's Debate. Today we are going to be talking, or shall I say debating, about emulation. This simple term has sparked a lot of controversy in the collecting world and just the gaming world in general. Is it right? Is it wrong? Is it good? Is it bad? That is what we will be discussing today. So no more dilly-dally, and let's get into the debate. First, we gotta talk about the difference between illegal emulation and legal emulation. Illegally emulating something means that you're getting the emulation from someone that is not the publisher. Basically, if you just hopped on some random unblocked games website on school and you were playing New Super Mario Bros., then that is illegally emulating. But don't worry, I mean, you're not gonna get arrested or fined or anything, and it's wrong, yes, but it doesn't really matter. Legally emulating means, let's say you're on your 3DS, you go to the eShop, you go to the Virtual Console, and you buy New Super Mario Bros. That emulation was published by Nintendo. That means it is legal. Which brings me into my next topic. Why do people illegally emulate if you can just legally emulate? Obviously, legally emulating takes that big bucks. And we're in 2023. The economy is horrible. We are a generation of hustlers. No one wants to spend $10 on Pokemon Red. Game Boy was from the medieval ages. No one wants to pay $10 for this. We want it for free. Which is why people illegally emulate. Bringing this into the collector's debate, if you do emulate games, there's really nothing wrong with it, either way you do it. If you are downloading the games legally through the Virtual Console or other means, if it's not Nintendo, stuff like that, you can't really collect emulations. So, as a collector, there's no really collecting value to emulating either legally or illegally. But don't think legally emulating is the best way to play these games either. There are more cons to both ways of emulating that I'll talk about now. First off, the controls could be very different and pretty weird, to be honest. The hardest games to emulate are DS and 3DS games, as they use both screens and the bottom screen as a touchscreen. We have seen like one 3DS game get ported to Switch in Miitopia, and they honestly did a pretty good job with removing the touchscreen. I mean, it wasn't really prominent in the 3DS version of the game, as it was barely used and it was more of just like a novelty. But they did good with that part. But the thing is, when you want to play a DS game on, let's say, your computer, it's gonna look kind of weird. Obviously, it's functional, but it just doesn't hit the same. And some just got these weird, wanky controls, like, why am I shooting fireballs with K? Come on! But the control issue is more prominent on illegal methods of emulation, as that's usually on your computer or maybe even other means like homebrew. But if you're going to do it on your computer, I don't recommend, just don't do it on your computer. I mean, the controls are always bad when it comes to these games on a computer, for at least most games. And same goes for legal emulations. Some games that are legally emulated on your 3DS or your Wii U or any other console are just not the best controls sometimes. And it could be the complete opposite. Sometimes they could have better controls, who really knows. Next, I want to get into the last con of both ways of emulation, and that is that it just does not feel the same as playing it on its original console. There's something about just popping in Kirby's Dream Land to your Game Boy and actually having the system in your hand and playing it and hearing its really bad audio and slowly gaining eye damage from squinting your eyes in an attempt to actually see what you're doing. That just doesn't hit the same when you're playing it on other consoles. This is a very small nitpick with emulation, but if I ever do emulate something, legally or illegally, it just does not feel the same, and that's why I'd rather collect the OG and original games, because it just feels better and just overall is a better experience to actually play it on the console it was intended to be on. And now, to end this debate off, I want to get into a very positive thing of illegally emulating games, and that is with Homebrew. Homebrew is a channel that just basically lets you get a bunch of free games for your Wii and your 3DS. It's probably the most popular way to emulate games on those consoles. But there's one thing that they do that I've not gone over that is not just emulating games, and that is online services. We have seen the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection get discontinued for Wii and DS. So what does that mean? No more playing Mario Kart Wii. It's a very sad thing. But people over at Homebrew did not let them stop them. We have seen stuff like CTGP, a new way to play Mario Kart Wii and other Mario Kart games online again. And I haven't seen it, but I'm sure there is stuff out there for like Mario Strikers Charged and other online games that I just have not seen the light of day in a while. I've also seen the recent uprise of an online version for the new Super Mario Bros. Versus mode. I had so much fun years ago playing that with friends and local play and have it online. It is honestly just a very fun and cool experience, despite it being on PC. But there you have it, my toes and Tourette's. Obviously, emulating stuff illegally is technically wrong, even though it won't really get you into trouble. It's not the right thing to do, but obviously, I mean, like I said, we're in 2023. Who gives a frick about it being illegal? Like, oh no, the FBI is gonna come after me because I illegally emulated Hey Frickin' Pikmin. But anyway, even if you do legally emulate stuff the right way, it still is just not the same. Overall, if you are a collector, I recommend actually collecting the games for their respective consoles, as that is, in my opinion, the best way to experience the games. If you are just a normal person, emulation does work in both ways, and it's honestly just a good way to play those games if you have no way of playing them the right and intended way. Personally, I don't actually illegally emulate games, I always get them the legal way. But I do have nothing against getting them the illegal way, so don't think I'm some kind of homebrew hater or anything. I just prefer getting the games legally. And yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, please consider leaving a like and maybe subscribing. Subscribing is free, and subscribing is legal. You are allowed to subscribe to my channel legally, so how about you use that freedom and subscribe to me. I do have other Nintendo related content and more in the Collector's Debate series that I do recommend checking out. Now on that note guys, I'll see you in the next one.